is where MAGA comes to talk, and we got a lot to cover today because a lot of crazy things have happened, right? Abdul won this primary. Hassan Piker is really being exposed. President Trump has busted a major leaker who very well is going to end up in a dark prison for the rest of their life, and a whole bunch more. And that's just like in the last 12 hours, all these things are happening. So, I mean, it's just, I tell you, we are very lucky to be living through the era of Trump, because the Trump era is the most historically significant presidency of anyone's lifetime who's alive today. And arguably the greatest presidency since George Washington. You know, George Washington established the presidency, and what President Trump is doing is bringing it back, right? Bringing it back to what it was meant to be, and that was being the chief executive of the country, and of course representing the people of the country. So I want to go through a lot of things that are out there in the news. Welcome. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. All right, my name is Brian. So I want to talk about Abdul, Senator Ted Cruz, who's absolutely amazing, isn't he? I mean, you know, if there's a Supreme Court vacancy, I'd be very comfortable with President Trump appointing Ted Cruz to the Supreme Court. Don't you think Ted Cruz would be spectacular on the Supreme Court? Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't support that? I guess liberal idiots, but Ted Cruz would be awesome. But here's, Ted Cruz has his own podcast. It's called Verdict with Ted Cruz. Welcome, everyone. Yes, 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 welcome. And Ted Cruz on his podcast, he uncovered something about Abdul in Michigan, and this is pretty big.
Abdul El-Sayed, his father-in-law, is a senior figure with multiple organizations affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood. He campaigned alongside Hassan Piker. This is the radical, left-wing, America-hating radical who said, and I quote, "America deserved 9/11.
And by the way, not only did he say that, but the candidate was given multiple opportunities to denounce campaigning with the individual who said that America deserved 9/11, did not denounce him, and apparently is continuing to stand beside him and campaign, I guess, with him moving forward.
This is who they are.
This is who they are. Okay, so let's go through this from the beginning with Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz.
Abdul El-Sayed, his father-in-law, is a senior figure with multiple organizations affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay, the Muslim Brotherhood is like Al-Qaeda, right? I mean, the Muslim Brotherhood is a really bad organization. And could you imagine if there was any Republican whose father-in-law was associated with the radical, you know, the Muslim Brotherhood is like the Ku Klux Klan, right? The Ku Klux Klan. So if there was a Republican or any Democrat whose father-in-law was involved with the Ku Klux Klan, would you want them to be in the Senate? Paula, you got your liberal talking points messed up. The leader of Syria is a former ISIS person, and that's not our country. I'm not talking about someone in charge of some country in the Middle East. I'm talking about someone in the United States Senate. There's a difference between Syria and the United States, at least for now. So, and you got your talking points mixed up anyway. Okay, so that's the first part.
Abdul El-Sayed, his father-in-law, is a senior figure with multiple organizations affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood. He campaigned alongside Hassan Piker. This is the radical, left-wing, America-hating radical who said, and I quote, "America deserved 9/11.
Holy smokes! I mean, that's crazy. That is, you know, saying that America deserved 9/11, as Hassan Piker is most famous for saying. That is one of the sickest, most un-American, perverted comments that's ever been made. And anybody who makes a comment like that should be not only condemned, but anyone who associates with them and hangs out with them, like Abdul and others, should be forbidden from holding public office. I mean, there's just no debate about that. I mean, that's one of the most disgusting comments you could make. Yep. Yeah. Paula likes this "you're another" fallacy. I don't know if Bill Maher said that, but you can't say, well, what this person did was wrong and bad and disgusting, but somebody else did it. What does that even mean? So you got two people that did wrong things? Okay. I mean, that's... Liberals are very simple-minded. They think they're like the intelligentsia, right? But they're stupid. And they don't take an opportunity to tell you that they're stupid. They don't let those opportunities go to waste, right? I mean, the fact that Abdul's father-in-law has these ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, that's enough to discount him from any type of public office, even dog catcher. Yep. That's right. Yep. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. Now, another thing here that's really absolutely amazing are these NBA players who now are identifying as women and want to go out for the WNBA. This is Royce White.
Oh, earlier this week I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027
Awesome.
as well. Well, I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. You know, but I'm a team first guy. You know, I'm a pass first kind of player.
Woman.
I do the little things. You know, I led my team in all 5 major stat categories.
Okay. Now, see, this is going to be an interesting thing. So just play the beginning again. This is Royce White, and there's others.
Oh, earlier this week I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well.
Okay. So this is awesome stuff, okay? And I hope more retired NBA guys like this guy here who identify as women go try out for the WNBA, because you know what they're putting the WNBA, they're trying to be all woke and everything. So what are they going to do? Are they going to refuse? Are they going to refuse entry into the league by these highly qualified players because they're saying that they identify as women? And that's all you got to do. You just got to say that you identify as a woman, and then you get to play on the girls' team. So I know it's absurd, but it's a moment for the left and the woke WNBA. They're going to have to like say to themselves, well, oh my goodness, you know, are we really woke? Because if they're either going to accept these guys or refuse them. And if they refuse them, that means they're anti-trans, right? Yeah, I mean, that's it. Putting the absurdity of it in their face is how you really get things done. And this will have an impact. You know, if these guys stand up and go out for the draft at the WNBA, the WNBA is going to be put in a catch-22, and it will quite possibly be the beginning of the end of this destruction of women and girls sports. That's right. That's right. Oh, by the way, the Department of Justice released a statement. Byron Donalds is not under investigation. It is completely false. There is no investigation into Byron Donalds. So Fish Sticks, he either lied or he has a bad source. So he's got to come out and clarify that. You know. So You know, that press conference that Fish Sticks did the other day about Byron Donalds was disgusting. And because we have a good, good people at the Justice Department now, they came out and said, nope, Byron is not under any DOJ investigation. Mm-hmm. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. If the WNBA refuses these top tier players, retired NBA, who since the, when you're in retirement, you got more time to reflect on life, and in their retirement, they finally have a break from the every day of working hard to play for the NBA, and they've come to realize that they identify as women when playing basketball, of course. So who's the NBA to tell them they're not women, right? Yeah. Oh. They're going to be made to look like fools. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. Then we got to get over the racial problem of the WNBA, because the WNBA and most of its players believe that the WNBA is only for black women to play in. Do I like Trump? I love Trump. Don't you? Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you've got to point out the absurdity of something in different and strange ways, and that's certainly one of them. You identify as a toaster. Does that make you a toaster? By the Democrat Party standards, absolutely you're a toaster. That's correct. You can identify as whatever you feel you are. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the IQ of a toaster. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's the way of it. No question about it. So Tucker had Hunter Biden on. He released a preview, all right, which, listen to this. This is in Mediaite, during a teaser for an upcoming episode of the Tucker Carlson show released yesterday, Hunter Biden admitted that the woken up version of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie he likes. So, yeah. So Hunter Biden has come out and says that he likes Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. Oh my goodness. Those, you know what that's like? Those are like counter endorsements. No, he does not have a 32% approval rating. No, he has his approval rating is over 90% among Republicans. It doesn't matter what Democrats think about Trump. You're never going to vote for Trump or any of his endorsed candidates, so it just doesn't matter what you think about Trump, right? Like, does it matter, when you've got a Democrat president, do you go around polling Republicans what they think of the Democrat president? It doesn't matter. They're going to vote for the Republican and their endorsed candidates. So that 32%, who cares what Democrats think about Trump or his endorsed candidates, right? That's it. I mean, yeah, liberals just, you see it over and over again with Democrats. Right? Democrats, they think they're so smart, but they don't get anything. What they do is repeat a lot of vacuous talking points, and they think they sound smart because they surround themselves with like-minded people who tell them how right on they are, but that's not the case. Me, I'm exposed to all viewpoints. Look at the chat. We've got conservatives, we have MAGA, we've got Democrats, liberals, trolls, people from all over. So, so I expose myself to all viewpoints. Liberals, they like to only expose themselves to one, and that's what they do. Yep. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, okay? That's right. That's right. All right, and if you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. All right, and you know, and look at how the dishonesty of the left, right? You know, like look what a couple of the Democrats just did. No sound, no sound. The sound's working fine, but liberals have no honor. See, they keep saying it's not muted. I just pulled it up myself and listened while I was talking. But see, liberals have no honor, right? And they lie about things, and you see this in a lot of chats. And the reason that liberals do this, see, I can hear myself. I just pulled it up. What the liberals do, they do this in other live chats too. They go into live streams, and their goal is to try to get people to leave. Oh, no sound. Well, you got to close it out and reboot. You got to do this. They try to get people to shut down their streams. Oh, no picture, no audio. And they try to get you to shut down your stream and start it over. You know, when you look at Democrats, is there anything about Democrats that is not dishonest? Can you think about, is there anything about the left that is not a lie? Can you think of anything? Well, honor, when you spell honor with a U, that tells me you're not an American, because we don't spell honor with a U. You're either in England, Canada, Australia, India, you know, one of the Commonwealth nations of England. So your opinion means even less about Trump than a Democrat, because you have no vote in this country. No one in the United States spells honor with a U. That's not how we spell it. You gave yourself away. See what I mean about liberals thinking they're smart, right? You know, and they blow their cover with the tiniest of things. Like that. Trying to pass themselves off. You know, it was just like Abdul in Michigan. It was just found out he's been using bots in foreign countries that have profiles that are trying to pass themselves off as American conservatives, but they're foreign bots and foreign accounts. Well, user, you're spending your time and energy watching this man, so who's wasting more time, me or you? I would say you. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Yeah, now the honor with a U is now embarrassed. And you should be. Yeah, so Hunter Biden's come out in support of Marjorie Taylor Greene. That tells you everything you need to know about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not using your language. I am using our language. I speak American Standard English. It's a dialect of English that's unique to the United States. That's exactly right. Yes, making money, which is not a bad thing. We in Norway think it's so funny to watch brainwashed MAGA people. We doesn't have people like that in my country, that use proper grammar. Well, this is something, you know, to Norway. I tell this on occasion to people that are in other countries that come into the chat. In the United States, okay, the United States and the American people do not care what people in other countries think about anything whatsoever. We don't care. We don't care what you think about our politicians, our politics, our presidents, our military actions, our movies, our TV shows, nothing. Americans don't care what people in other countries think about anything, and that includes me being an American. And you know, that's not new. That's been the way for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Now look at this. Now this is an example. Look at this. Fake Kim Jong-un here. Brian, you would make way more money if you pivoted. You know what's on the horizon. You know, so let's just give an example. You know, okay. I'm very blessed that I earn a very good living in my chosen career, right? Being a broadcaster. I've done it my entire adult life. This is the only thing I've done my whole adult life. And I don't give opinions because of money. I'm just very lucky that my opinions are worth something, and I can make money with my opinions and many other skills that I have. But look what they do. They try to buy you. See, this is what happened with Tucker and Marjorie Trader Green. See what fake Kim Jong-un. It's like they're trying to recruit me, like they're from some intelligence agency or something, trying to recruit me. If you pivot, what, become anti-Trump? One of these fake people that say, "Oh, MAGA betray," you know, that they're offering to pay me. Oh my goodness, it's not how it works. Oh my goodness. Wow. No, Americans, this is not new with the Trump era. Americans have never cared what people in other countries think about anything. Right? It's true. I mean, you know, because we're number one. Who hates the Constitution? You know, the Constitution once said that women could not vote. Was it unconstitutional to advocate for women to get the vote? The Constitution said they couldn't vote, right? I love how all of a sudden Democrats are strict constitutionalists, but only on one thing, Trump running for a third term. They're a strict constitutionalist when it comes to that, nothing else. So ridiculous. They don't even hear themselves. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, man. So they caught the Air Force One leaker. So someone leaked out when President Trump was in Turkey, which borders Iran during this air campaign. Someone leaked out, whether it was true or not, they leaked out some top secret information to the New York Times about the capabilities of the new Air Force One, and they caught him. Biden's Secretary of the United States Air Force. And this guy could very well end up locked up in prison. Listen to this. The Department of War on Friday revoked former Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall's eligibility for access to classified intel after he released classified information about the new Air Force One to the media. The Biden Air Force Secretary leaked sensitive information about President Trump's Qatari-gifted Air Force One jet to the New York Times. And you know, I'll get into more of this. You know, liberals hate Muslims, which might be a shocking statement, but look at how they tell us that we can't trust the Qataris with the new Air Force One. I mean, why can't we? Well, you're saying we can't trust Muslims? What are you saying? Here's the official statement from the Pentagon. Effective immediately, the Department of War has revoked former Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall's eligibility for access to classified information and his ability to hold any sensitive position. This action follows his unauthorized disclosure of classified information regarding Air Force One's capability to a media outlet. That's the New York Times. Yeah, we beat Iran. Yep, 6 months ago. Safeguarding classified information is a non-negotiable duty. Those who violate that trust forfeit the privilege of access in any role requiring it. Wow. So, yeah, He was Secretary of Air Force during the Otto Penn Biden's administration. And look at this. I mean, this guy, here's his bio from the Air Force, okay? And this guy, you know, he pissed away his reputation and whole career because of Trump derangement syndrome. But I wonder how many other classified secrets has he leaked, right? Here's his bio from the Air Force. This is the traitor that leaked classified information about the new Air Force One in the New York Times. Frank Kendall was the 26th Secretary of the Air Force, responsible for organizing, training, and equipping the U.S. Air and Space Forces. In this capacity, he directed the Department of the Air Force's annual budget, provided Air and Space Forces to combatant commanders for global military operations, and was accountable for the welfare of nearly 700,000 active duty Guard, Reserve, and civilian airmen and guardians and their families. He had more than 50 years of experience in engineering, management, defense acquisition, and national security affairs across private industries, government and the military. He was a consultant to the defense industry firms, nonprofit research organizations, and the Department of Defense in areas of strategic planning, engineering, management, and technological assessment. He's also an attorney and was active in the field of human rights, working primarily on a pro bono basis. Goes through his whole bio. He's a graduate of West Point. Wow. Served 11 years as an active duty Army officer, including assignments in Germany. He taught at West Point. You know, so he leaked this classified information, security information, about the new Air Force One to the New York Times. You've got to wonder throughout his career how much other classified information has this guy leaked, right? Exactly. It's pretty frightening when you think about it, isn't it? Absolutely it is. Yeah, I promise you there's a major investigation going on of this monster, because that's what he is. He's a complete monster. You do something like that. You know, he was risking the life of everybody in that aircraft, which wasn't just the president. It was a big part of the cabinet. The press were in there. Palestine is not a real place. Palestine is a mythical place that only exists in the imagination of liberals and jihadis. That's about it. But this guy, you know, he has probably been leaking information his entire life in the service of whoever he was supposed to be serving in the country. Yep. I'm sure they're investigating him. A good chance he will go to jail. Yeah. I would expect him to go to jail. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is my back porch, and we like Christmas here. My wife likes Christmas, so we light our back porch with Christmas lights. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's Christmas 365 days a year. We even have a small Christmas tree lit up right over here. Yep. In the corner, right over here. Yep. Don't you guys love Christmas? It does look nice at night. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. Oh, it's Christmas 365 here. My wife starts decorating the inside of the house for Christmas around right after Thanksgiving. No, Palestine is a mythical kingdom that the liberals have in their mind. Yes, we did beat Iran, since you asked. Yes, we did beat Iran. Mm-hmm. Yep. Iran lost. Yep. They're severely reduced. They are not the country they were 6 months ago. Not even close. No, you tell yourself that. You tell yourself that. So Mike Rogers sat down with his wife, and he put out a video to Democrats in Michigan Let me pull this up.
you're-
He's talking to Democrats who don't want to vote for Abdul.
If you're among the majority of Democratic voters that woke up on Wednesday feeling, well, hopeless, because the person who won does not represent your values, well, just know there is still hope. Michigan deserves a senator who is ready to sit with you, hear from you, and represent you. The parents across Michigan who want an education system that sets up their kids for success. You have a home with us. To grandparents across Michigan who are heartbroken from watching their kids and grandkids leave the state. You have a home with us.
Yes.
To young people who are looking for real solutions to solve our housing affordability crisis. You have a home with us. To working families who don't want higher taxes and lower paychecks, well, you have a home with us. And to the vast majority of people across Michigan who do not want to throw their support behind a campaign filled with anger, divisiveness, calls for violence, and the views that are out of touch with your values, well, you have a home with us. The fight is far greater than just left versus right. The fight is for the very soul of our nation. Over the next 90 days, I'm going to work hard to earn your trust, to earn your support, and earn your vote. We have a state to save, Michigan. Let's get to work.
Yeah, Mike Rogers. And Mike Rogers is ahead in the latest polls, so things are going very well. Now, believe me, one man's holding up the SAVE Act. The Save America Act's being held up by Thune, a traitor Republican. Remember, rhinos are Democrats. What have I not answered? Vader 1. First time I've seen you in the chat. Yes, we did. We beat Iran. Iran lost. Yes. It's true. Yep. Stop lying. Is Drifter Doc? Stop lying, Brian. Stop lying. That sounds like Doc. I think Drifting Beamer might actually be Doc. Sure. We won the Iraq War. We won the Afghan War. We won the War on Terror. We won World War II. We won World War I. We won the Civil War from the Democrat insurrectionist. We won the Spanish-American War, the War of 1812, the American Revolution, the Cold War, and the war with Iran. I'm sure there's some other ones I've forgotten about. Yes, the Allies won the Second World War because of the industrial might of the United States. Yeah, we won in Korea. We've kept South Korea free. Absolutely. Vietnam, we did not lose Vietnam, but liberals forced us to pull out. And that's it. They forced the withdrawal. And I would say that we did win Vietnam. If you go on YouTube today and you look at, there's a lot of people, a lot of American men retire to Vietnam, and women retire to Vietnam. And they're in places, I can't believe, they're in Ho Chi Minh City, which was Saigon, Da Nang, and all these cities they moved to. And Vietnam is really a communist country in name only. They've abandoned communism and have brought in the economic system of capitalism. So I think a case could be made that we won Vietnam because the goal of the Vietnam War was to defeat communism, and they're not very communist. Nope. It's true. Oh, here's Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, talking about the Save America Act.
This president is trying to push this SAVE Act, which basically would require that for people to register to vote, you're going to have proof of who you are through a passport, which a lot of Americans don't have, or a birth certificate. Same point.
Everybody has a birth certificate, okay? And if you can't find it, you can get it within 24 hours sent to you.
Obstacles to make it difficult for you to register to vote.
Yeah, everyone's got a birth certificate or access to it. I'm talking about today, not 51 years ago. You know, I talk in the now, what's going on today. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe, okay? This is where MAGA comes to talk. Now, the deportations by President Trump are just doing incredibly well. Did you see the latest jobs report? Did you see the latest jobs report? Listen to this. Jobs report shows nearly 1 million fewer foreign-born men in the U.S. labor force. So that's amazing. So 1 million foreigners who are men are no longer in the U.S. labor force. That's because of deportation. And what does that mean? That means that's a million jobs created. Every deportation is a job created by President Trump. It's true. Every deportation is a job created. Yep. You don't need a passport to register to vote. Like here in Florida, our driver's licenses tell us whether or not we're a U.S. citizen. At the top of my driver's license, it says that here in Florida, it says I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm glad that person's not voting. They're a Democrat. It's good. One less Democrat voting. That's a good thing. I wish all Democrats would vow not to vote. That'd be awesome. That's right. Yeah, you got to have ID to go to Mamdami's Kami grocery stores. That's correct. And you have to prove residency in New York. So I'm disenfranchised. I can't shop at the Kami grocery stores because I'm not a New Yorker. I don't have any ID that shows I'm a New Yorker, and they won't take my word for it. Welcome, everyone. Yep. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. What new war did Trump get us into? I missed that in the news. He's ended what, 8? I'm not familiar with any new war we've gotten into in this second term. If I missed it, let me know. I know you're not talking about the Iran war because that war's been going on since 1979. So you said a new war. There are no new wars. Not launched by this country. They just don't know. So this was great. So President Trump's MAGA PAC has $800 million. Okay. Meanwhile, the Democrats had to mortgage their office building to pay for these primaries. Here's President Trump.
Do you, MAGA Inc., the super PAC that your allies control, has a lot of money and a lot of people?
Not my allies, I control it.
Okay, you and your allies.
$800 million.
Are you going to spend it?
It's funny, nobody ever, of course I'm going to do.
You're going to spend it in the midterms?
I could spend it on pretty much anything I want. I'm going to spend it I'm going to help Republicans.
This midterm.
And so when you say I don't care.
No, I didn't say that. I said some people say that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I could do a lot easier. I don't have to be away in Nevada yesterday. I didn't have to be in Los Angeles yesterday making speeches. I didn't have to be supporting all the people. I have I have a busy schedule. I said to somebody, wait a minute, you don't understand, I won. I'm not campaigning.
Okay, Jeremy, hold on. Jeremy said Trump's made $8 billion. So what? Money is not dirty if you make it honestly.
Now, that's the other thing. I get a tremendous vote.
In fact, in President Trump making $8 billion, however much it is that they claim he made, that means you can't bribe him, right? He has more money than the people that do the bribing.
I have records in many of the states, the most votes ever in Texas and Florida and many, many states, Alabama. You can go through them, many, many states. The most votes ever. The question is, and they're asking this question, and I've had some great polls recently, real polls, but they're great polls. If I don't run, will those people go out and vote? And that's the one thing I can't tell. I'm going to ask them to, but I'm just watching guys like you, and you're very talented people. The question is, will they vote? because a lot of them are very angry at Republicans, to be honest with you. They're
Why is
angry at I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, because Thune. People are angry at Thune.
they're angry at Republicans, but they're not
That's an
angry at
interesting
me.
thing. Why?
They're not angry at me, but they are angry at Republicans.
Everyone's always angry.
And there
at
are some areas that are basically Democrat, but they're Trump, like Pennsylvania. I win Pennsylvania easily. I win other places easily. Look, I won Michigan easily. I did well with Michigan. Did well with almost everything, to be honest. I did well with it.
Yeah.
Gee.
That's one of my cats. So MAGA, Trump's MAGA PAC, has $800 million to spend on the campaign, and the Democrats had to mortgage their office building. So, which is more popular, right? Liberals think that making any money is somehow immoral because they don't have any money. By the way, if you're just joining, the Department of Justice released a statement that there's no investigation going on at Byron Donalds. So they released that yesterday. That's right. So Fish Sticks either lied or he had a bad source. He needs to come out and correct that. Oh, by the way, we got our new Attorney General, Todd Blanche. Isn't that awesome? That's right. We got a real Attorney General now. Yep. Unlike Pam Bondi, who did nothing. She wasted a year, which is what her job was. Right? She wasted a year on purpose. I mean, that was her goal. MAGA runs the country and the world. Think about that. It's true. The country and the world is run by MAGA. The world economy is doing well. Doing very well. Oh, here's another strict constitution. Like I told someone in the chat earlier, right? The Constitution once said women should not be allowed to vote, right? So was it against the Constitution to advocate for women getting the vote? The ballroom at the White House, that construction project is not for the ballroom. The ballroom is a cover that was blown by the New York Times and other liberal media. It's not for a ballroom. That's just a cover story. The purpose of the ballroom is two things. One is to build a new bunker underneath the White House that can withstand the weapons of today and is technically up to date, right? The other bunker was built when Truman was president. So the bunker was under the East Wing. So they had to tear down the East Wing to build a proper bunker. And the ballroom is not really a ballroom. It may look like a ballroom, but it's to turn the White House into a military base because there's so many threats against the president. They need to have more military capabilities at the White House, right? So part of that ballroom area includes a hospital. Why do you think they're building a hospital at the ballroom? Exactly. A drone airport and other military things. So the ballroom itself is just a cover story. It's not really a ballroom. It'll look like a ballroom, but it's not really a ballroom. And everybody knew. I predicted that, by the way. Before this began, I told you guys that, right? Because I knew about the bunker and everything else. I told you guys about that before anyone else. I had that story first about the bunker at the White House. I do appreciate, yes. We welcome all opinions. But there's no question the bunker is what this is about, and also the military things they're building there. The ballroom is a cover story. I would only be a leaker if I had access to classified information, which I don't. BWYAN, Bwayan? Who's? I'm not even trying to pronounce BW. That's not English. That's some other language. Yep, the Attorney General's confirmed. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. No, the national debt's not a problem. But what we've learned in Trump's second term is the national debt is because of the Democrats stealing all this money through the Medicaid fraud, like the Somali pirates in Minneapolis and such. Nick Shirley and Doge exposed that. The government is well within its budget. It's the Democrats' thievery that's making it look like there's debt. Who vandalized the reflecting pool? Liberal Trump derangement syndrome sufferers. That's who. In fact, President Trump posted a lot of pictures of the damage just yesterday. Palestine is in the minds of liberals. Bill Clinton was Epstein's best friend, yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly. The Constitution is perfect. I don't have to troll for clout. I've already got it. Yep. Thune has the votes. He's just a fake Republican. Rhinos are Democrats. Mm-hmm. Yep. I hope that he fires Judge Jeanine. Very disappointed in her. She blew it. She choked, as the president said. President said she choked in front of the liberal judge, and she did. Norway. You know, you got to think of a country that, you know, this guy, this Trump hater in Norway. If Norway didn't exist today, right, if all of a sudden Norway didn't exist, how long would it take for the rest of the world to notice, right? And then, without Norway, what would the world not have? If Norway stopped existing today, what would the world not have if Norway wasn't there? I think it would probably take 4 or 5 days, maybe a week before people noticed. No, we have Legos all over the world now. Legos are all over the world now. Nope. We have too many Legos. I can go to a yard sale today and buy Legos. I'm talking about moving forward. What would we not have moving forward? Think about it. If Norway didn't exist today, what would the world not have? I'm not talking about the history of Norway. I'm talking about right now in the world. Does Norway even matter in the world? Right? Exactly. Norway played a role, I guess, at some point. Right? Mm-hmm. Can't think of a thing. No, think about it. What would the world not have without Norway? If Norway didn't exist moving forward from this point. Now, if the United States didn't exist, the whole world would collapse. It would erupt in war and the entire global economy would collapse. Yeah, I covered that earlier, Freedom Soup. We got this Biden Air Force Secretary leaked top secret security information about the new Air Force One to the New York Times, and you know, you've got to assume he's been leaking classified information his whole career. I promise you, he's under investigation. That guy could end up at perp walked. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's true. Life imaging in Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and Orlando. Life imaging. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope that Air Force Secretary gets arrested. He should. You know, he leaked classified information about the plane carrying the President of the United States, senior cabinet officials, and also the press. Right, the press were there on that plane. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, if you go to liberal cities, it's like the third world. Yeah, like the county south of me is a Democrat county, and as soon as I cross the border into the Democrat county, you can tell. You can tell. My wife and I, we were talking if we were, about when retiring in a couple years, and and if we were going to buy a new house, and I said it cannot be in the Fort Lauderdale area. It's run by Democrats, and there's homeless everywhere. It's run down, lots of crime. If last week, I guess it was Sunday morning. If you guys were watching my live stream, around this time, Saturday morning, I went to the beach, and I went down there, and everybody's smoking weed. There were no cops. There were homeless people everywhere. That was Fort Lauderdale Beach, and it's run by Democrats. Oh, Celebrity is better than any cruise line. It is absolutely amazing. That's what we take our MAGA cruises on Celebrity Cruises, and it's an upscale cruise line, and the cruise ships are like yachts, and they have more crew per passenger than any other cruise line of its size, right? I mean, it's absolutely amazing, and the food is spectacular, upscale food. And there's really no kids, which is, it's for adults, which is nice. There might be 10 kids on the whole ship, and they're, you go on a lot of these other, I remember the first cruise we went on was not on Celebrity, and that's why it's like there's too many kids. Yep. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. So this Air Force Secretary of Biden's that leaked the information about the new Air Force One while the president was in Turkey, which borders Iran. I mean, that's treason. He didn't just leak classified information, which has its own crimes to it. I mean, he committing treason. He could have gotten the president. Remember, was it Marco Rubio invested on that plane? That was a very, very dangerous thing he did. Very dangerous. I hope they perp walk that guy, and have a major arrest, because that is some hardcore criminal activity. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And remember, when I'm in the studio, I'm always taking live calls when I'm in the studio. You're going to go to Morocco. There was a guy, it was so funny, like 2 weeks ago, a guy calls me on the show, and he was yelling at me, calling me an Islamophobic bigot because I said I would never travel to a Muslim country. And he says, and this is before the Spanish invasion, and he says, Morocco, you wouldn't go to Morocco? I said, no. And then like 2 days later, Spain gets invaded by the Moroccan Muslims. I would never go to a Muslim country. No one was arrested, but we found the Air Force One leaker, which was Biden's Air Force Secretary. So I would expect an arrest of him. America is a country, yes. We refer to the United States as America. There's North America and South America, but America means the United States. That's right. Can Trump do no wrong? He hasn't done anything wrong I know of. Do you? Well, we only need 50 votes in the Senate, which we have, and the vice president is a tiebreaker vote. He gets a vote when there's a tie, so we got 51 votes. That's how. But John Thune's a traitor, fake Republican rhino, working for the Democrats. That's right, Carolyn. I don't get this calling us Nazis, because these Trump haters, they say we're Nazis, and then in the next breath, they say we're controlled by Israel and the Jews. And you obviously don't know your history. Nazis and Jews don't get along very well. So how can you be a Nazi and controlled by the Jews at the same time? That's a conflict. I'll tell you, that just doesn't quite make sense. Yep. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.